Hello everyone, so we're here with another deck, because why not? This one I've been very curious about because it's the Universal Celtic Tarot. So I want to see how they put the Irish legends or the Celtic legends into a deck. I did have a flip through. It's been here for about... since Friday? Yeah, it's now Tuesday. Or no, it's not Tuesday, it's Wednesday. I don't know what day it is, it's so bad. But hey, this is by the Scarabeo, and when I was looking at the barcode, the cling film one, it said Llewellyn, so I don't know what was going on there. Maybe Llewellyn was the supplier, who knows. But I do want to edge this at some point, because I love the backing of this. You ready for this? It's a Triskel. So that's the Celtic symbol for Trinity, or the Celtic symbol for Shamrock. I love it. Like we have necklaces of this in our house. I might get a tattoo of this. That'd be nice as well. But here we go. We're gonna get into this, and it's gonna be amazing. So we have the Fool. The Fool's a leprechaun, and I'm gonna use the book because the people in the like the representation of the mythical creature or the person in it, I need to address. Because I did have a flip through because I wanted to see who was in it. So we know that the Fool is a leprechaun. This is a leprechaun, simple as. Leprechauns walk on the rainbow and such. Zoom in a little bit. I'm using daylight for the first time in ages. It's so nice. Oh, the weather's getting so nice. I'm going to say that. I'm going to be very thankful that we're getting sunlight now. And heat. So anyway. Here is as I said, the Fool. He has his mushroom, a pipe. It's pretty much the same thing. It's like he's taking the chance over the rainbow road. We have the Magician. Now, the Magician is a druid. He has the wand, the staff, or no, this is the wand. This is the sword in his hand, the cup and the pentacle. So it's all there. It's just a little bit more Celtic, and I like that. The High Priestess. Yeah, she's just a High Priestess, but she does have a St. Bridget's cross on her chest there, which is a symbol of the goddess of Bridget. Yeah, so there's some bits that are a little bit different, like there's cranes here. The symbols are all there, but it's just... yeah. The Empress is the Great Mother. So this is the Great Mother in the Celtic sense. So I'm learning some new things as well. Like I didn't know we had one called the Great Mother. I thought it was a different name, and I just can't think of the name of it. Do you know when you know it, but no. But yeah. Then we have the Emperor, and the Emperor is so the lance he's holding is called Slíbua. I'm Irish, so this is gonna be fun. I can translate all this for people. This is called Slíbua. It's an invincible lance, one of the 4 mythical objects inherited from the Tuatha, with which he will defend his people. So there's like these, yeah, I've heard of this. There's like 4 mythical objects, and when they come together, they make peace or Trinity or something like that. I will look into more of that because that's really cool. The Hierophant is a druid, but he's more advanced than the Magician. So this is like it's literally Gandalf the White. This is how the Gandalf the White thing came to boot, because the higher up the druid, the ropes change. Simple as that. Oh, this one, the Lovers. So this is Cú Chulainn. Well, okay. If you ever hear the story of Satanta, who's the boy who killed the big dog at his uncle's castle, he becomes Cú Chulainn, which is the dog of Cú Chulainn, of Cullen, the dog of the town, because his uncle says, you killed my dog with your... A slither is it's a ball, right, but it's made of like, I think it's made of skin or a sheep's stomach or something, and they stuffed it and sewed it up, and it becomes like a rock hard thing, and he threw it into the dog's mouth, and the dog died because he had such a good arm, so he threw it so hard that the dog choked on him. And it's like a big Irish wolfhound, so they're huge, like, and back then they were probably bigger, do you know? So Satanda becomes Cuchulainn. That's the whole point. That's how he just gets promoted to a different title. Same person though. But this is where he was, I remember this, he had 2 lovers. I heard this. Emer is his wife. So this is Emer, his wife. And this is his lover Faned. And she belongs to the She, so his lover was an elf. It was an elvish person. I remember hearing about that. I just know Emer was his wife, and Emer, I don't know how they met, but she was like his equal. And then I still don't know much about this lady, Faned. F-A-N-D, Fand. It was like Faned. I don't know. But yeah, that's the whole situation. He's in it later. I think he's the King of Swords, and that's perfect. And when I come to that, when we come to the minors, I'll do the flip through and have the few to the side I want to talk about as usual. So we have the Chariot, and the Chariot is Cuchulainn on a warrior in his yeah. These kind of things are all the same. Like, everyone had the same idea with the chariots, like, you know, with the battle kind of thing. So yeah, that's Cuchulainn going off into battle. This one, I was really shocked that they put this one in. This is the goddess Artio, and she's leading a bear. It's like, this is a goddess, Artio, and I thought they were going to use Queen Maeve and the bull. Queen Maeve was a badass. Oh my god, like, reading about her, she's amazing, okay? She is in this, but she's not the way she should be depicted. Queen Maeve she was more like a warrior queen, and she had a white bull. Like, she had a big, huge white bull, and when she would come to her enemies and stuff, she married one man, like, just so she could access the armies. She married a guy, but she wouldn't marry for ages. I remember that she wouldn't marry for ages. And this one guy, she said, she says to every guy who was like the last survivor or the leader of the company that she was like defeating, like the troops, it'd be the leader or something like that, and says, if you can defeat my bull, you can marry me. None of them defeated the bull. The bull would kill them, essentially, except for one. I think his name was Connor or Eamon, I'm not sure. There's 2 guys that she fell for, and he defeated the bull and she married him. But he didn't like how she would go off and still she got another bull and still did the thing going, if you defeat my bull, you can do this. And he's like, I don't like that. So that's the one I thought would suit the strength card, was Maeve, Queen Maeve. Like, Queen, if you read up on Queen Maeve, Maeve would be M-E-A-V-E, like that's how it's spelt, but it could be M-E-A-B-H, like that's the B-H is the Maeve, that bit, so the Irish bit. But this still works, like she's still taming the bear, but the only reason she's taming the bear is because the bear trusts her. So yeah. Then we have the Hermit. The Hermit is an elf. There's nothing really much there, she's just an elf. It's nice. An elf, and he's trying to catch all the little fireflies to go into his lantern. The wheel. I like how the wheel is a actual stone wheel, because there are some of these around Ireland in some places. This is the goddess Cerduin. Let's do one. The goddess Cerduin, angry, chases him. Oh yeah, this is our version of Loki is Gwyn, Gwyn. So our version of Loki was being chased by the goddess Cerduin. She was angry and she changed him into various animals. So she changed him into different species of animals that were in Ireland or in the Celtic thing. Who in the end turns into a corn seed. Oh yeah, so yeah, he becomes like a piece of corn. Well, the goddess changes into a hen. When she pecks at the seed, she falls pregnant with him. This is really mad. And from the wheel of pursuit and magic, the poet Taliesin was born. That's interesting. So that's really cool, the way that's done. It's our version of Loki was backstabbed. So this is Justice. This is kind of like our version of the Lady of the Lake. She's the Lady of the Law of Nature. She's like in a tree, and yeah, it's our version of the Lady of the Lake, basically. Hanged Man is a green man. The green man called Darg Cora. Darg Cora. That's weird. Darg Cora. D-E-R-G, and then Cora. C-O-R-A. Yeah, it's just the green man, and he's hanged upside down. So I like that. That's cool. The death one is really interesting, because I thought this is Morgan. Yes, Morgan. Remember this? She's Morgan. She had a giant raven. That's the whole point of her. She had a giant raven that she could ride the back of. Who knows? Do you know, like, there was giant eagles down in Australia. Come on, like, giant birds that were 10 feet tall. There could have been a giant raven. Or it could have been one of those birds, and it's just black. Do you know what I mean? So they're like, oh, it's a giant raven. Because they probably didn't know any better. But she's screaming here. It's like her battle cry for the change. She's screaming, and these are her. Yep, they're her enemies. We all become equal in death, and then we are reborn in the early sun. That is so cool. But like she's like another one of those warrior queens, and it's so cool. Oh god, like our stuff is just mad. But then again, we had like 300 kings. We didn't just have one. We had like 300 kings. This is my hill. Like, it's like, this is my hill, I'm the king. This is my hill, I'm the king. It was like that. Just took a bit of land and that was yours. This is the goddess Bridget. She's temperance. Okay, let's see what it says about her. Water and fire are two fundamental enemies. Yeah, that's true. There's Saint Bridget and then there's Goddess Bridget. There's two. There's still, I think they're one and the same. Just one was turned in with the Catholicism kind of thing, and one is just the Celtic Druid kind of belief. The devil. This one really got me because of the chains are stuck to the guy's tongue and they're wrapped around their necks. So let me see. This is the the god Ogmius. This is the god Ogmius. He keeps a man and a woman attached to him with precious chains, and does this with the word. Okay, basically his tongue, we call it. The index of temptation, because it is easier to tempt people whispering. Oh, it's so rather than like not looking at you, they could say something. So words are more alluring than what you say. This is the tower. This is an arch with niches. So the niches are, I think they're the skulls, right? Niches containing skulls. Yeah, so it's the skulls there. Lightning strikes it and it falls down. Yeah, basically that's just. I think it's an ancient archway. The star is just a woman with these lovely Celtic tattoos. Very simple, very Rider-Waite-Smith. This is very Rider-Waite-Smith. It's just I'm seeing who they're adapting into it. The moon is, I remember this. She's the goddess of the moon. The goddess Aranhord. Aranhord, yeah. A-R-I-A-N-H-O-R-D. Aranhord. Yeah, this is the goddess Aranhord. She's the goddess of the moon. Simple as. So there's no wolves. There's no path. It's just this the Celtic structures here. Oh, it's beautiful. The sun card is phenomenal. This is the god Cernus. So this is supposed to be Cernus in his natural form. The Song of Life was dedicated to the deer. So this is like the Song of Life. It represents rebirth, like his antlers. Yeah, his antlers will break off and come back. That's the whole point. But the whole point, I like this version of Cernus rather than like the kind of fawn looking thing, because he's supposed to be a big giant Irish elk. And you look up Irish elks, they're insane. They're huge. Like they had these antlers that were 20 feet wide, and I'm like, you just see the skeletons, but you're also like, how ripped was their neck, like, to hold this huge antler held? Judgment is the god Manannan, yeah, Manannan, Manannan, god of the sea and elsewhere. It's like, I'm god of the sea and a bit more. I'm the god of the sea and a bit more. He's on a dolphin, which is funny because we actually have a famous dolphin down in Kerry called Fungi, and he's been there years, and he's brought his family into the bay in Kerry, Dingle Bay, and I was like, this is crazy, like, that this is part of the lore. The world is just all the Celtic animals. So these are all the animals that are in Celtic history. We have the ram, we have an eagle, and a deer. Simple as. There should be foxes in that, but hey. Right, so we're on to the miners, and I'm gonna be quiet for this and continue on. that was really cool. I'm reading as I was going the book. So we're going to continue with the minors of what I picked out. So the Two of Cups. Let's get to the book here. The Two of Cups is the goddess Maeve. So this is the Maeve when she becomes a god. And it's a different Maeve, I think. But I thought this was the Maeve I was mentioning earlier. This is her making a king, basically. And it's really, really nice. Like, it's still a union. It's just not a union of love or anything. It's like a union of duty. Really cool. Just thought this was really cool and very, like, Hobbit-like. Because we have the dragon on top of the gold, and we have the young Mara going, I need to pick a cup, sir. Can I pick a cup, please? This one's called The Page of Cups is the Salmon of Knowledge story. This is Fionn, and he picked up, the whole story is that his uncle, or it's always evil uncles in this, I don't know what it is, but the fisherman who was teaching him how to fish, or his uncle who was a fisherman, I can't remember if it's one of the same or what, he had caught the Salmon of Knowledge, and he was like, yes, I caught the Salmon of Knowledge, I feel great, and he cooked it up, and it was cooked and it was hot, and then Fionn went to touched it, and he touched the scales that were still hot, and he went, ow, and he licked his finger. Because he licked his finger, because it still had a bit of the fish on it, he gained the knowledge of everything in the world. And his uncle was like so mad, because I wanted it, and he's just there going, but you're old, and I'm young, I can last longer and learn more. That was the whole story about that, but it's so cool, like, that they actually put this little, like, this is a story, an ancient story that I grew up with. Queen of Cups is the one with the dolphin, that guy. This is his wife, Cuida, and she's the wife of the god of the sea. So she's just sitting here waiting and basking in the beauties of the beach and the sea. Here we have the Nine of Pentacles, and this is Bridget again, but she's very entwined and, like, helping the garden grow here, and I thought that was really nice compared to the Temperance one that we were looking at earlier. So it just shows you how powerful she can be, like, you know. This is the Ten of Pentacles, and we have Goibanu is the blacksmith fairy. So, and he's building a triskel. So he's actually forging a triskel, which is the symbol that's on the back of the card. So he's making one of them. And it's like, he's just working, and he's actually a fairy. He's not a ogre or anything. He's a fairy, and he's covered in these tattoos, like all here. He's covered in these Celtic knots and trinities, so very pretty. And he's making a triskel, which is really cool. The King of Pentacles I thought was interesting. It's King Connor. So this is Cú Chulain's surrogate father. So it's his uncle in the story, but Connor, it's Conabar. His name's Connor. I know this is Connor. Just the old Irish way of saying it is so bizarre. I'll show you how bizarre it is. Look, it's that. If I will zoom in, that's how you say it, but it's translated to Connor. So if you ever say Connor, King Connor, that's how it was pronounced. So I like how they put him in it, because he's quite a very important ancient Celtic figure, because he made Cú Chulainn who he is. I like this Ace of Wands. I thought it was really interesting. I'm going to just neaten up this pile while I talk. It's so cool that these lines that are on the staff are actually Ogham stone markings. So they're used in a burial sense back then. It'd be a big tall stone. It'd be slender like a flint nearly, or a spearhead. And the loved ones will etch in on the edge, because they didn't know how to write. They would etch in on the edge the lines, like say it would be a line down and 4 across, and a gap that would be in a letter. So you can look up on Google or something. I'll look up a good translator and put it in the description of how you can see what your name is in Ogham, And there's a website somewhere that you can get a pendant with it, and it's so pretty, like, it's so nice. So I just thought that was cool that they put that ancient language in there. I wanted to talk about this 10 of Wands because it's very interesting compared to an average 10 of Wands. He's balancing on these stakes that have markings on it, and it's all about like not knowing what's coming and the not knowing the unknown. Do you know what I mean? If that makes sense. Not knowing what it is scary. So it's like he's walking blindly, but it's really cool that it's not like he's burdened by work or like, you know, overdoing it. So it's really nice. The King of Wands is Cran Bahadin, yeah. If I can say that, Cran Bahad, which is the Tree of Life, the Celtic Tree of Life. It's a man that's like part of the tree. It's like the same story as Merlin when he became a giant oak tree. It's the same thing, nearly. It's just Irish and Celtic. So that's the Tree of Life. Oh, I don't know why that's there. I've accidentally gotten there. The Three of Swords is a love story that says the death of Art and his wife. Art is A-I-R-T, and his wife Evelyn. So this is Evelyn, who's a fae, or an elf in this sense. It says, your blood still flowed from my heart. I did not want to dry it and drank it. With the death of a loved one, the world around us stops. You can see he's pale, so he's been there for a while. But because she never wanted to leave his side, she killed herself because she didn't want to go on without him. It's very sad, and it's such a sad love story because he's a human, she's a fae, that kind of thing. It was forbidden, all that stuff. The Six of Swords. This is very interesting. This is King Arthur in the boat. It's Arthur's last journey to the island of Avalon, and he asked for I think he did. I don't know if this is I don't know what the British version of this is, but from what I've known is that he came over before he died. So he made the Knights of the Round Table, all that lovely stuff. Came over and he wanted a ceremony in their way because he had such a bond with Avalon, which is Ireland's original Celtic name, Avalon. And this is one of the women that befriended him, or who knows, had an affair with, who knows. Back then you just didn't care. But he had it's very similar to the Viking way, like shooting the arrow, putting on fire, but it's just less. They're more in the boat. They're in the boat longer than shooting it, and then that's it. But yeah, no, I love this little ceremony. It's very nice. It's really pretty. Now, I was right, but I was also wrong. The Ten of Swords is Cuchulainn. This is the one everyone knows. It's where he tied himself to a rock, and I can't remember who he was fighting. But he was such a good warrior, like he was insanely good, that he said, you will not win as long as I'm standing. And he stood and he tied him, because he was so weak from all these stab wounds and stuff, he tied himself to this rock or tree stump and he stood up. And the guy who was fighting him, I can't remember who the hell was fighting him, it was like a rival or something, and he did not know he was dead until a raven landed on his shoulder and just started pecking at him, and that's how he went, oh my god, he's dead. The wolf of Cullen is dead, like the guard dog is dead. And that's like how there's a famous statue that someone made in the GPO. So if you ever do come to Ireland and you see the GPO in the window, there is a huge statue of Cuchulainn, and we have like a miniature one, and it's amazing. The story of him, amazing. This one got my attention. This is the Knight of Swords, and the Knight of Swords has an ancient bull in it I've never heard of. Travis Trigarinus, the bull symbol of strength, and it's a 3-horned bull. So it's a bull that has like a unicorn horn and bull horns. I thought that was really cool. Just adding that bit in, really nice. Right, let's do a quick reading, shall we? Let's do a quick one. I might actually edge this in green. I've seen people do that, or like a bluey green. The tower. Some big changes are coming. Big changes are coming. It's going to be sudden. It could be positive, it could be negative. You have to see it in whatever way you're seeing it. I'll just grab another. I'll get the bottom of the deck. We have the Ace of Swords. So this is a big change for our mental health. It's a big change for how we see the world. But the Magician, we have the skills to adapt. We know what to do. We are prepared for this. We're prepared for the worst and prepared for the positive, if that makes sense. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I don't want to get too in depth with it because people will associate it with the current events, but I don't want to associate it with that. It's like there's a big change coming. It's going to either boost our mental health or diminish it, but this is not reverse, it's up. So then we'll have the skills to go, we know what to do. I know how to fix it. That's it. It's just all about patience, really, I think. I'll leave that there, guys. I'm glad I got back into this. I'm so glad I did this today. Do you know, you're just getting like, oh, I want to do it, but I'm like, God, procrastination is not nice. So I'll leave that there, guys, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye.